Hello, this is D, and I'm back with another video. Well, I took a few days off as I received some RTX 3080s, and I've been doing some benchmarking for the channel. Now, the last 24 hours, my inbox has been going off like crazy as people are sending me the performance metrics of the Xbox Series X running Dirt 5. Now, the detractors are saying that the console is not running the game at 4K 60 frames per second, and that the Xbox Series X is underperforming. Now, today I'm going to address all of that, and to be quite honest with you guys, I'm gonna make a lot of people look very foolish, as we do have some pretty good metrics and idea of the performance that this game will have on the Xbox Series X. But as usual, the detractors only hear what's convenient for them. Now, to be quite honest with you guys, I didn't really want to do this video today because I just want to get these benchmarks out on the RTX 3080, but this is just getting a little bit out of hand, so I feel like I have to address the matter. Now, Digital Foundry yesterday did have a hands-on with the Xbox Series X and Dirt 5 running on that console. Now, overall, they were left impressed with the performance. Yet we have a group that's saying otherwise, and that the Xbox Series X is underperforming, and this is far from the case. Now, first of all, Digital Foundry said that the game will give you a few different modes. You're gonna have a frame rate mode and an image quality mode, as well as a 120 Hz mode. Now, the mode that's in question here is the 4K 60 mode. Now, a lot of people are saying that it's not performing at a native 4K resolution, but they didn't hear the full report that Digital Foundry did on this game. Now, I'm gonna quote them here, and after that, I'm gonna present you guys with the video evidence to back up this claim. Now, Digital Foundry goes on to say that the frame rate mode runs at a dynamic 4K 60 frames per second, and visually speaking, it does a good job sticking at 4K. The card selection, the opening of track screens, as well as the action on the screen is all in 4K. The only slight drop in resolution is at the starting grid where it goes to 3328 by 1872, but that is all that the resolution drops. Now, this is at the starting grid of the game, and they also go on to say that this is not final code, that they are still tweaking this game up until launch. Now, logic would tell you that if this game is running 4K 60 frames per second on the entire track except for the starting grid, that it's an optimization issue and that this will get worked out before the launch. Now, like I said, I'm gonna let you guys hear it for yourself, and after that, I'm gonna give you guys my final opinion.
All of which brings us to how the game performs, at least in this early state. Good news here, the choice is yours for how you want the experience tailored. We're given 3 playback modes on Series X, one for frame rate, image quality, and finally 120 Hz. Let's go through each in turn, starting with the frame rate mode. Again, all subject to improve still, but as it stands, this runs at a dynamic 3840 by 2160 and targets 60 FPS. Visually speaking, the game does a very good job sticking at 4K, the car selection screen, opening of track screens, and action after splintering from the pack, all 4K. The only slight drop resolution-wise is at the starting grid to 3328 by 1872, but impressively, that's about it.
So there you have it. The game is performing well. It's doing 4K 60 frames per second in this title. Like I said, the only part where it's not a native 4K resolution is at the starting grid, not in the actual race. You also get a 1440p 120 Hz mode. You also get an image quality mode that targets 60 frames per second, but it's a dynamic resolution with the settings turned all the way up. So you're getting a lot of choices in this game. You can play it any way you want. If you want to play 120 Hz, you have that option. Native 4K, you have that option. If you want all the bells and whistles, you also have that option. Now, what I don't understand here is that Dirt has never been known for its graphics. It's always been known for its off-rally racing and, of course, the gameplay. It's never been known for its graphics, yet gamers are making fun of the graphics on the Xbox Series X. But these same gamers will also have a version of this on the PlayStation 5. Now, what we know so far of the PlayStation 5 is that the CPU is clocked a little bit lower and the GPU is not as powerful as the Xbox Series X. So that game is not going to look any better on the PlayStation 5. In fact, we might get a little bit worse performance on that console. So I really don't understand why gamers are making fun of a third-party game that will be on multiple platforms. It just doesn't make sense, and when it's all said and done, I really do believe that this mode that they're targeting 4K and 60 frames per second will run that way all the way through, even at the starting grid, as optimizations are made up until the launch of this game. Anyways, I want to know what you guys think. It's kind of crazy that we have less than a month away for these next generation consoles, and people are still fighting and bickering over the differences. Now, we know that the Xbox Series X is more powerful than the PlayStation 5, and we know that the PlayStation 5 is going to have some really good launch titles. I really do believe that now's the time just to be happy that next generation is finally here. We'll get the games, and then at that time we can pit them up against one another. Until then, most of these games that we're seeing on the next generation consoles are not fully optimized. They're still going to be making tweaks to these games up until the launch, and I really believe that the performance can only be judged when these consoles reach the retail markets. Anyways, I want to know what you guys think, so let me know in the comment section down below, and like I usually say, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one.